Okay. From the police department, Chief Bonney, unfortunately, you only have about 30 seconds left. But Chief Bonney, please, if you could summarize how the override might affect your department.
It'd just be a really good idea to pass our override. Thank you. No, to the previous question earlier, our department would face significant cuts to people, not through attrition, but real people who come to work with us every single day. When we presented the Finance Committee last year, we felt that we were going to be able to fill open positions. We had 7 open positions that weren't filled. Historically, the Abington Police Department, under civil service, it was very, very difficult for us to hire. We knew once we left civil service that hiring would be quick. We'd be able to fill open positions quickly. So anticipating the vote where you guys supported us greatly at the ballot last year to leave civil service in April, that vote happened last April. Last January, we held a non-civil service test because we knew we would get the bodies to the academy as quickly as possible after that April election to leave civil service. So we knew we would fill the empty positions. Steve Marquardt, who's a sergeant of over 30 years, told me when we first started planning this that he never once worked, never had a single year working for the Abington Police Department where they weren't hiring at least someone for an open position. We have no availabilities as of right now because we are at full staff. Back in 2022, we were staffed for 25, this is before I got here, I was doing some research for the Finance Committee, it was 25 patrol officers. Right now we have 20. And our numbers are skyrocketing as far as arrests and citations written and things like that. So what we would actually lose, we would lose 6 patrol officers, so 6 of the 7 new kids that we hired would go. And they would go to other departments like that. They're incredibly talented, they're really motivated to work, and we would lose them in a second. And getting them back would take a year and a half, and we wouldn't get those people. I want those people to work for us, not just bodies. They're incredible human beings who love working in this town and wearing this patch. On top of that, we would lose a records clerk, which is mandatory. I have to fill that position because she fills public records requests. If we don't fill public records requests, the Attorney General gets involved and we get fined thousands if we don't fill public records. We have a part-time firearms clerk. Obviously, the Second Amendment, I really don't have to say anything more. We have to have a firearms clerk. A property and evidence officer. No department gets in trouble more than people who mess around with evidence. We have to have somebody in evidence. Court prosecutor. We're the only department in Brockton District Court that doesn't have a full-time court prosecutor. It's usually done by a full-time police officer, as is that evidence position, a full-time police officer. Both those positions are filled with retired part-time officers. This is putting Band-Aids on bullet holes, and we have run as lean as we possibly can. And cutting further, I would now have to take patrol officers and fill those 4 positions. So I would lose 6 patrol officers off the top. Then I would have to take 4 more and put them in these positions that I just said. That means there are 10 patrol officers left for the street. That means there's no detective. We just appointed a detective that would start after town meeting. After the override if we get it. And we would also have to pull both SROs out of the school. That means Officer Morgan, who handles Harlow, and the mayor of Abington, Jimmy White, would have to go back on the road. They wouldn't lose their positions, but they would be reassigned out of the schools into the street. That means we have 10 patrol officers on the street. We'd also lose our entire desk position, which would have to be filled with overtime because we can't leave our desk open. And that overtime would cost roughly $590,599 a year. That's not in my budget. I have a $180,000 overtime budget. We would also lose 3 part-time desk positions and a part-time administrative assistant. So it's 16 total people, real people that we have working in our building would go. 40% of our staff. What happened was, because we had open positions, and historically it's been very difficult to hire, those positions, the 6 positions, 7 positions really, but 1 is on a federal grant, they weren't funded. And I don't blame them for not funding. They took a calculated risk because historically we had trouble hiring. We don't have trouble hiring anymore. People want to not just work here. We had 2 people get recruited by other departments in the last year and a half. a larger agency, a city agency, and a federal agency. They both chose to stay in Abington because of what we built here and the support that you guys provide us. So what it would cost us financially, we would have about 76 open shifts a month. And what an open shift is, that means we don't physically have a body to fill that shift. The shift minimum is 2 patrol officers and a sergeant. We wouldn't have enough to fill that. So what I would have to do is I would have to allow, like we had to do before when I first got here, sergeants and lieutenants to work patrol overtime. That is a financial nightmare because sergeants and lieutenants make significantly more than patrol officers. So open shift overtime would be over $500,000. Like I said earlier, the desk coverage would be basically $591,000. These are approximations. Then our officers get vacation time. Every single day off would cost money. So our vacation time would cost us nearly $250 million. I haven't even touched sick time or FMLA. I don't know if you looked at our team picture, but it's filled with young police officers. They're all young. None of them have gray hair like me. That means they're all going to have families soon, and they're going to take FMLA and get 12 weeks a year. That's going to be very, very expensive. Doesn't count injuries. We have an officer out injured from a violent encounter just a few days ago. They get injured. That would cost us a ton of money. We're able to absorb that now because we have a full staff. So our numbers are going up. I think in the month of March, we had increases in almost every major category. We had an increase in arrests of, where's our arrests? Sorry.
While he's looking that up, he didn't really mean 250 million. It was 250,000, but we knew what you meant.
It would be cool if you gave us 250 million. Listen, if you get numbers wrong up here, I can say something wrong. We saw increases in almost every major category, 37% increases in arrests. We had 17,000 calls for service. When I first got here on my very first day, I met with the entire staff and I asked what the major problem is that we're facing, and it was staffing. And we fixed it. Please, I can't look at those kids that we just hired who were so excited to start and tell them, I have to help you find a job somewhere else. They deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.